Regarding any clarifications that previously some of you have asked, and also regarding the attendance issues, see, actually we are going through a lot of changes here regarding duties and all that. So we are rushing to our duties. So that is why it did not become possible for me to consolidate your attendance and send you as of now. But please be assured, attendances are there. It is already recorded. I will consolidate them and give you at the earliest. Okay. And today also we don't have time to discuss all those because we already have an assignment due. So please make sure that your downloading of your paper and uploading during that time your connection is not missed. It is not like an online proctored examination where once you drop your connection you won't be admitted or anything like that. You will be there is nothing like that here. Of course you can join and rejoin any times, but please make sure that the time allotted to you, within that time only you submit. I have seen that in quiz 1 all of you have submitted, so that is a very good sign that all of you have serious in submitting within the time, and I did not get any complaints. So I hope that repeats the same for assignment 1 also. So this time assignment 1 will be that you will be writing it on sheet of paper, taking a photograph and then uploading. And please see that you have the same format as I had uploaded for online proctored examination in PDF mode. Okay, so that is more helpful for us. I know it is easy for us to evaluate. And also just a few reminders about once you write, see that you already put your registration number, your signature and your name on every sheet. Okay, so that it is authenticated that it is you who are submitting. Okay, so without further delay we'll just move ahead. Yeah, so we were continuing this problem from the previous class. Let me just recap what we did so that you will be getting a confidence. So here we had a pair of bevel gears. The shaft angle was 60 and speed reduction is 3:1. And in this particular problem, what we did not have, here we had the number of pinion on the teeth was given, but we did not have what is the size of the gear. And using the conditions, whatever conditions were given, that is especially the shaft angle, which is of a greater prominence, we came to a formula, or the delta 1 and delta 2, what with the given speed ratio, what will be the individual angles of the bevel gear, that is delta 1 and delta 2, which are the pitch angles we calculated. Okay, you might get in decimals, no problem, but that is what we calculated from the formula. So the shaft angle decides what will be the angle subtended by the, or the cone angle or the pitch cone angle that the bevel gear has. Now then you found out what is the weaker member. You understood that it was a gear, that is a weaker member. Then we continued with the all the necessary adjustments that was needed, or the proportion that was needed for the cone distance as well as the face width of the gear tooth itself, and some changes with respect to FT that we did, that is we wrote FT in terms of module because module is still unknown, and unless module is known you cannot even find the diameter. So with these things in mind, we retained the equation in terms of module. We came to a form of m cube CV, correct? We brought it to a form of m cube CV so that the iteration will be proper. Okay, m and the associated velocity factor. Once m is changed, diameter will change, and then the velocity factor will also change. One of the highlights was that what will be the length L? The length L, or the cone distance that was mentioned, you have to calculate based on is it acute angle or obtuse angle bevel gears. We understood that both are acute angle because both delta 1 and delta 2 were less than 90 degrees, correct? Both delta 1 and delta 2 were less than 90 degrees. So any one of the formulae will hold good, that is d2 by 2 sine delta 2 or d1 by 2 sine delta 1. Any of the formulas will hold good. So using this, what you did, again you wrote d in terms of m into z, and again retained the equation in M. Then we took a rough estimate about what should be the phase width. B is equal to L by 3, which is 13.89 M, and we substituted so that we could get M cube CV. One special note, we understood that if it is a right angled bevel gauge, that is delta 1 and delta 2, okay, will that combination will come out to be 90 degrees. Then we would suggest, or I would say, rather than both delta 1 and delta 2 being exactly at right angles, then L will become this distance. Okay, so we'll come to that. The next problem will also discuss with that. Now, once we understood what was that, we came across a factor called CV. Velocity factor was different for spur and helical gear. It was purely based on the pitch line velocity of how the gear is rotating. Okay, but that is not the case now. Though it is a factor of that V, but V is decided based on how the teeth are formed. So using form cutters, we applied this formula using form cutters. Okay, this was regarding the form cutters. So what is the difference now? Form cutters means there are you can imagine that how the teeth should be formed. The profile of the teeth itself is kind of embedded on the cutter. So the cutter, when it cuts on the cylinder, the teeth are formed by etching away or removing the material. Okay, so maybe in your workshop practice also you have seen or done this, that this gear is cut out by removal of the material in a certain way. So that part we call as form cutters. How are teeth generated? You use a harder gear outside or harder teeth outside and try to generate those teeth onto the parent material. So just an opposite example I can give you, an analogy I can give you is, you have seen knurling happening. So knurling also is kind of generated. It's a generated feature. Why? Because you have a knurl tool which is stronger than the material on which you are going to impinge that particular pattern. So in the same way, the teeth is going to get impinged or generated on the gear teeth itself by the rotation of a harder tooth. So this is the generated form. Based on form cutters and generated cutters, you have different formulae. For form cutters, you have 3.05 by 3.05 plus V. If it is generated teeth, then you have 6.1 by 6.1 plus V. Okay, so further with this discussion, we arrived that adopted should be more than 4 mm of module we got. Then we had the face width to be 55.56 and length to be 166.5. Now, coming to dynamic load, we already calculated this, referring to all the 3 tables, 12.12, 12.13, 12.14. All the 3 tables, same way we are going to do. Okay, and we calculated dynamic factor C, which came out to be 9657. So I think we stopped till here. Yes, so we'll continue from here. What is the wear load? So wear load here, FW is D1B QE K by cos delta 1. Again, the parameter on which it depends, D1 and delta 1. It is a pinion which decides what will be the wear. Okay, so coming to this equation, I think because the cos delta 1 is there, slightly changed equation it is. So 219 page number, where it is, yeah. So here equation number is 12.41. Okay, page number 219. And QE is dependent on ZE2 by ZE1. Okay, we'll write that here. QE is the ratio factor ZE2 by ZE2 plus ZE1. We have already calculated this ZE1 and 2. You can just go back to the previous slide and refer there. Yes, ZE1 was, let Let me highlight that. ZE1 was 20.6 and ZE2 was 86.3. We have already calculated in the process of finding the weaker member among the pinion and the gear. So we'll use that same properties over here. Let us find out that QE is equal to 2ZE2 by ZE2 plus ZE1 must be equal to 2 into 86.55 by 86.55 plus 20.60. So you should get around 1.615. So this will be the ratio, simple ratio to calculate. Okay. Now since BHN1 and BHN2 is given, so in the problem itself it is given that BHN1 is 200 and BHN2 is 180. See, these both are given in the problem. Okay. Then you can find out with 200 and 180 combination what will be the K value. This both implies K value is what. So let us find out whether it is available in the table. If it is available in the table, we will use it directly, otherwise use the formula. Which table are we referring to? So it was table 12.16, page 239. This is the table. So under this table you have 200 and 180. Let us go back to the material and see. Just a second. Okay, see, the gear material is steel. Okay, we have steel here. So one is of steel and the pinion is of steel and the gear is made of cast iron. So go for a similar combination over there in table 12.16. So there you can find with the steel and cast iron combination, you have one idea. Yeah, see students, even if you use a formula, you will get the same value back. Okay, so that also you are free to do. But rather than that, if you have a ready formula, that is ready values that are given at some points, that also will help you out. Okay, you can save some time. So in this table 12.16, you will find that there is a steel with the 200 BHN and cast iron with 180 BHN with an some endurance limit 392.5, and with 20-degree full depth you have the value 0.814. Okay, there is a line with suggest 0.814 as the value. Okay, you can write sigma ES also, but we are not using it for any calculation here because it is already calculated and given to you. Okay, this is megapascal. Yes, sorry. So that many megapascals. So 0.814. So let us substitute it back and see what the wear load we get. D1 B QE K by cos delta 1. Substituting for all the values, this is 80. B was 55.56. 1.615 is QE value and K value is 0.814. Cos of delta 1, so delta 1 is 13.89 degrees. Hold on. Yeah, maybe, yeah, almost it comes nearer, but not so as to satisfy the 6021 maybe. Okay, around 6021 if you get, so that many newtons. and unfortunately again this is lesser than FD. Okay, for a successful combination, FW should be more than FD, and this is lesser than FD. Okay, so which value we need actually? So resubstitute that. So FD should be equal to FW, which is equal to D1 BQE. The only factor that you are changing is K now. So search for the new factor, how much it will be. So 9,000, right? 9657. Okay. So 9657 equal to D1, rather put the values itself.
1.306.
Yes, comes around that value. 55.56, 1.615 into K, cos of 13.89. So as you told, it is around 1.3. Okay, 1.306 to be precise. Now 1.306, of course they have not asked for the value here. So this is the minimum hardness value that is required, or the factor which will decide the minimum hardness value, 1.306. They have not asked here, so you may or you may not choose to suggest any value here. So if I just look at the table, 1.306 combination, that is you have to take the steel and cast iron into account. Steel pinion and gear is cast iron. So if you look at that 1.3 combination, where does it come?
250 BHN for pinion.
Hmm. 250, yes, it will come around 250. 250 and 180 combination. Okay, if you look at the table, so this is kind of extra here, I'll just write. Okay, so BHN1 will be around 1.344 you can choose, which is a ready value, 250, and BHN2 can remain the same. Okay, 180. Okay, so this one part will do some extra here. If suggest minimum hardness is given, then you can go with this combination. Yeah, so that you have to be careful, that materials also matter, and also that if it is preferable that you can heat treat at least one of them. Okay, only one of them. So the end result, the statement you can write is that as we have written for the previous one, since FW lesser than FD, the wear starts before the dynamic load FD is reached. Okay, hence it is subjected to heat treatment so that it can be surface hardened to a higher value of BHN for which the value of K is 1.306. So here BHN we have a steel and cast iron combination for pinion and gear, and we got these two values. Okay, if there is a suggest minimum hardness, then we can use this particular value and then go and check back in the table. You might get. If you don't get, then you have to recalculate using sigma ES. But of course, usually for most of the problems, we'll get the combination here itself. Okay. Yes. So I think most of the things are clear now. What are the changes with respect to bevel gear design when you compare it with spur and helical gears? Okay, so delta 1, that is one major portion, major very important part. What is the pitch angle of that particular gear or pinion which you are going to design? That also plays a very important role. Okay, so this problem is done. We'll go to the next problem where you have the reverse case where the diameter is known and you need to find out what is the number of teeth. Okay. Yeah, you can take down this problem. Okay. Once you start the problem, okay, I think I have to do a small correction here in the previous discussion. So let me tell you that a pair of right angled bevel gears is used to transmit 10 kilowatts. So this is 10 kilowatts of power transmission, 1600 rpm of pinion. The pinion is of 100 mm diameter. So D1 is given, diameter is known, 100 mm. Speed ratio is 4. Material for pinion is untreated forged steel. So based on these two sentences and gear is untreated C40 steel, we can find out what is sigma D1 and sigma D2. So alpha is 20 degree full depth and service factor is directly given as 1.5, whatever be the case, whether it is steady or sudden shock loads or continuous operation, we are not bothered. We are just taking the service factor as it is. Design the gear based on strength. So in this, what is the difference in this problem is that you don't have any problems with the CV factor because diameter is directly given. But at the same time, you are supposed to assign a particular number of teeth for this purpose. Okay. So as I was telling, one of the changes that I need to make, I think I just missed that small point. What do you mean by right angled bevel gears? And consequently, what is meant by acute and obtuse angle? I think I made a small mistake while explaining that. I'll just go back and correct that. So here I said in this slide that delta 1 and delta 2 are both less than 90. Actually, what we are trying to understand here is delta 1 plus delta 2, okay, not comma. Delta 1 and plus delta 2, in other words, according to your data handbook, theta, the angle between the shafts is less than 90, correct? So in this particular problem, theta was 60 degrees. Theta was 60 degrees. So theta was 60 degrees in the beginning of the problem itself. So acute, obtuse and right angle is totally dependent on the shaft angle. Okay, not individual. Individual, obviously it will be less than 90. Of course, when it's a combination, you have to get it less than 90 itself. But the definition wise, strictly acute angled means theta is less than 90, and obtuse angle means theta can be more than 90. The angle of transmission is more than 90. When it is, write it here, theta is more than 90, and right angled means theta is equal to 90. Right angled means theta is equal to 90, or the shaft angle is equal to 90. Okay, so let us proceed. With this thought in mind, we know that now that theta is equal to 90, and speed ratio is 4. Yeah, all things, other things are taken care. Theta is equal to 90 degrees. Now once theta is equal to 90 degrees, some things with respect to the angles get clarified. Sine, cos will simply vanish. You will be reduced with a very simple set of formulae. Okay, because we know what are those sine 90 and cos 90 values. So especially for that, you have some set of values that are given in the data handbook. So you can just refer to them. So tan delta 1 is equal to, it is d1 by d2, also equal to z1 by z2, and also equal to simply 1 by I, according to 12.32a, page 217. 12.32a, page 217. Okay, see, you need not even know what is d1 by d2. Of course you can immediately find out, but that is also not required, because it is just a function of what is the speed ratio. So speed ratio is directly given to be 4. So this should be equal to 1 by 4 then delta 1 is equal to tan inverse of 1 by 4. So tan inverse of 1 by 4, how much you are getting?
14.036.
036. Okay, fine. So what will be delta 2? Either you can use the next set of equation, or you can simply write theta minus delta 1, because we know that theta is equal to delta 1 plus delta 2. Okay, very simple. So 90 minus 14.964. Okay, good. So 75.964 degrees is the angle made by each of those individual bevel gears. So one is a pinion, one is a gear. Now just as we did for a spur and helical, we have also, hello?
Yes.
Hello? Is anyone trying to respond anything? If not, please see that you are not unmuting yourself unnecessarily. Okay. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll assume Z1 and Z2. Okay, Z1 and Z2 we want to assume. Why we want to assume? Because number of teeth is not known, and you need to find out which is the weaker member in order to start your design based on strength. Okay, so let us assume that Z1 is equal to 20, and given the speed reduction to be, or the speed ratio to be 4, Z2 should be 4 times Z1, which is equal to 80. We assume some value, assume some good value, okay, not simply 2, 3 and etc. Okay, because there is no gear with just 2 teeth or 3 teeth. We know that minimum number should be 18, 20, 22 and so on. So safely you can take around 20 number. So 20 and 80. Now what is the virtual number of teeth? Ze1 is equal to Z1 by cos delta 1, which is 20 by cos of 14.036. Okay, so calculate that, and ZE2 is Z2 by cos delta 2. That also you calculate. Yes, ZE1 how much value?
20.615.
Yes, 20.615, and Z2 value will be, this is something interesting. You're just putting
329.5.
Yes, I'm getting around this value, students. Maybe closer values you are getting. So you can see that the Bevel-Gehr combination, because of this factor of this angle, you are just putting 80, it is going 4 times high, okay, the virtual number of teeth. So that is to say the equivalent gear, if you want to put a spur gear over there, okay, for that particular combination is 320 number of teeth if you put exactly an equivalent spur gear. Okay, so if you use 80 teeth, so that is the meaning of this using the virtual number of teeth. Okay, I think it is time for your posting of okay, maybe 1 or 2 minutes are there. I'll just keep it mentioned again one more time that questions will be posted to you in around 2 minutes. Okay, you'll receive them in your assignments. Have you received anything as of now?
Didn't receive anything, sir.
Okay, okay. So just keep looking your assignment section. So taking into account some lag time based on server and your internet connectivity, we have chosen to give it slightly ahead, slightly before your expected time of exactly 2:45. Okay, so once you receive a question papers, so question papers are different sets are there, just as you had answered in the class. So put your time and effort. It will be based on springs this time. Of course, you might already know it. Will not be covering the portion of guess for assignment 1. Okay, but make sure that you submit by 3:30. So full 45 minutes and an extra few minutes here and there are already there. We have already given it as a factor of time delay. It will start posting at around 2:40. As soon as you receive, just confirm it. Just tell me over this call that whether you have received it.